This is Hannibal here from the HannibalTV.com, back from a long day at work at my regular job, doing some extra shifts today. And I'm here with a daily news update. And NXT has hit an all time record low rating 0.10. And coincidentally, Natalia, who I trained with in the dungeon, put out a tweet regarding working with WWE producer Finley in her match against Cora Jade, which was one of the feature matches. And she said, quote, "Last night's WWE NXT was a very special show dominated by women. The man who laid it out the man who laid down the foundation for women in WWE to have what we have today is Finley. What a privilege it was to work with him last night and be part of the magic he creates," end quote. Well, the magic he created was an all-time record low rating. And if any of you guys listen to the podcast that Kevin Sullivan did this week on this channel about Super Brawl, the very first Super Brawl with John Paz, I posted it yesterday. He said the curtain actually needs to be pulled back or to be pulled forward a bit for wrestling to be interesting again, as we see ratings dropping every single week. And thanking producers is something that, why are we suddenly thanking producers and crediting producers of matches? I don't remember when Hulk Hogan fought Macho Man at WrestleMania 5, Macho Man Randy Savage going out and thanking Pat Patterson the next day for helping produce such a great match, or when Hulk Hogan fought Andre the Giant going out the next day and saying, "Oh, well, Pat Patterson really deserves a lot of the credit for this match as a producer." People just don't want to hear it. They want to suspend disbelief. And Tony Khan's out there quoted today talking about the Forbidden Door pay-per-view with New Japan, working with the New Japan booker Gedo. Quote, "We're planning it together. For the two of us, I think it will be fun working with him. We're putting stuff together, and now we're kind of taking our separate ideas and separate stories and trying to find ways to make everything work with our people getting involved in each other's shows and on our own respected shows and stories," end quote. Because it's just stories, guys. It's not matches. Don't try and suspend your disbelief. This show hasn't even happened yet, and they're just calling it stories. And like, I'm sorry, I might not be the coolest person in the world, but that is just so uncool. It's so lame and uncool to like want the credit for stuff if you're Tony Khan, to like publicly talk about how you're the booker. I can't recall when Vince Russo was booking the Attitude Era. Obviously, he talks about it now, but back then you never saw the bookers talking about it. In WCW, when it started to fail, yes, there's a good example when his booking ideas started to not be as an original. That's when he started to put himself as the booker, because people don't want to hear about that, and I'm sorry, we don't. So AEW's hitting record low ratings. NXT's hitting record low ratings. Raw and SmackDown are hitting record low ratings. People just don't care. And as Kevin Sullivan says, you guys break kayfabe just way too much. We don't want it slapped in our face this much. Tony Khan also confirmed with TSN that Bret Hart is not going to AEW anytime soon. Apparently, one of the key people that helped bring AEW to Warner Media, Brett Welts, is going to be done with the company. and Warner Media is also ending scripted programming on TBS and TNT. So how both of those factors will affect AEW getting renewed, time will tell. So yeah, sorry about that. I just hate what pro wrestling has become. I truly hate what pro wrestling has become. Like, think about another great angle. Remember the Austin Tyson angles, where apparently they even sold it backstage. It wasn't like AEW, where Tyson and Jericho were taking pictures after their angle. I mean, the Austin and Tyson angle really changed the tide with WWE and WCW in the Monday Night Wars. And you didn't see Vince Russo go in the media the next day and say it was all his idea. So I don't know. It's just, it's not the wrestling that I grew up with. I'm much more interested in other things these days. The Big Boss Fetty says Mike Tyson will not face criminal charges for hitting a plane passenger. I'm not surprised at that. By the way, I did watch the Mike Tyson podcast where he had Ric Flair on his podcast. It came out maybe a month and a half ago. Mike Tyson did say on that AEW pays a lot of money. The way that Mike Tyson was talking, he made it seem like he made way more money working for AEW than he did for WWE, because Mike was asking Ric Flair, why aren't you working for AEW? And basically, and why also isn't Charlotte working for AEW? And Flair was just saying that Charlotte had a good position and stuff. And then Tyson was like, well, Tony Khan pays the most money. The Hannibal TV. Please help me out and like this video. Then click the subscribe and get notifications buttons so you don't miss any of my latest shoot interviews, match videos, or news updates. Follow us on Facebook at The Hannibal TV for more live streams and